Hey guys, it's your favorite guy here, Secret Code. Far off daydream games, a new year dawn. Halloween themed month. Halloween themed month, guys. So let's immediately get into this. I don't know nothing about this game. I just know that it seems pretty fun and it has horror to it. October's horror month. Let's go.
I snap into consciousness and find myself running through a dark, endless forest. I'm being chased, probably by the devil himself. I haven't seen him yet, but I know he's right behind me. I can feel him.
I already like this game because I don't have to do the voice acting, thank God.
My heart is pounding against my temple. I feel stitches all over my chest already. I can barely see in front of me, but I have to keep moving.
Where are you running to?
Stay away from me.
You are only going in circles, you know.
Every path only leads right back to me. Shut up! Stay back!
So, which way now? What's the matter? Can't decide? Well, you can't stop. If you slow down, I might get you.
His voice was venomous and it came in like a whisper in my ear. He was close. He was playing with me. I noticed a faint light. There seems to be a clearing up ahead, or at least something bright coming out from behind those trees. Good thing, too. The cramps in my abdomen are getting unbearable, and I'm nearly out of breath. The trees part before me to reveal. What the? What the hell is this?
It's Inception.
I'm standing in a hall full of mirrors. There must be hundreds. I wipe the sweat off my forehead and try to catch my breath with immense effort. So I don't remember when I've been here, but I know it was a very long time ago. I'm having trouble adjusting to the space in here. It feels as though the mirrors would close in on me if I dared to look away. I tried sliding my hand across them, hoping it would lead me to a pathway. But every corner I think might be an opening only turns out to be another mirror. I wasn't...
You stopped running. Well, that's not very smart, is it?
I could tell his voice was coming from somewhere close by, but all I could see was reflections of myself, getting more nervous. Enough of your games. Why don't you just show yourself?
Maybe it's you.
My words echoed back and forth through the space, ricocheting off the mirrors. 1,000 Sams were either staring at or away from me.
I'll bet it feels nostalgic in here, doesn't it?
What? Is that you, Naruto?
The direction his voice was coming from kept changing like he was moving around, but he was nowhere in sight.
You're weak, Sam. You are going to fail. And when you do, I will be there.
Like a good friend that I am. And we'll go out for Five Guys later.
His words now felt like they were spoken right into my ear, from inches away. There was nothing there. Who the hell are you?
I'm the McDonald's guy. I gave you your Big Mac last week. You forgot to tip.
Who am I? I am offended. You don't recognize me.
Okay, his name is Offended.
You really have forgotten, haven't you? But you'll remember my name, won't you?
Yes, you remember the extra sauce that I gave you.
Richard Grave.
The man who served you your delicious meal.
No, you're not real.
In fact, I am. And I'm working right now. You just happened to left your cell phone on speaker.
Not real. And you think you are.
Whoa, voice acting.
I've been watching you your whole life. Don't tell me I'm not real.
I know your routine. 5 a.m. you get your coffee. At 6 p.m. you get a double Big Mac.
You sad man. Let me know if this feels real to you, Sam. Come, give us a hug. Ugh.
His arms broke through the mirror in front of me, sending shards of glass flying all around. Before I knew it, his hands were locked around my neck like a vice.
Kinky.
I was helpless. I couldn't remove them. I was suffocating. You'll remember me next time, won't you? Ugh. I am never far behind. Ugh.
Is this real life? Oh, that
I
alarm.
sit up in bed. It's 6 a.m. The alarm is blaring through my room. I shut it off with an involuntary flick of the hand, then drop back down and rest a minute. I'm not what you would call well rested this morning. I wish I could say this was unusual, but it isn't. Something isn't quite right in my head. It's like something important is just on the tip of my tongue. Something I keep missing and can't quite figure out. I felt this way for a long while now. I could never remember my dreams, but I think I've been having especially bad ones lately.
Like ones where I see myself within a mirror, and then I see my other self within the mirror, and then myself is evil, but it chokes me.
As soon as I awaken, they instantly vanish in a fog, and only this deep-rooted tension remains. I can't understand the source of my torment, but every night is the same. And every morning I wake in a cold sweat like this. I get out of bed and go through my morning routine. Rinse, spit, shower, dry.
I do 500 push-ups with the music on by Shirley Beck. 1985 is what I think it is. Her routine was so great that within... Kind of sounds like American Psycho a little bit.
I put on a fresh outfit and take a look at myself. Sometimes I feel like I'm looking at a stranger in the mirror. I feel myself melting through the floors and become absorbed by them. Inanimate. Something to be used. Walked on. Not a person. At least not a whole one. Pieces are missing. Some I lost and are gone forever. Some I'll never even know should be there. Is this all just from the stress of being overworked, or is it something else? My name is Sam Nichols, defense attorney at Klein & Associates.
Objection!
I may as well ruin the surprise. I am the sole associate still working with the firm. We took several large losses at no small expense, one after the other. Just about everyone jumped ship before becoming associated with that firm. I stayed. Call me sympathetic. My boss, Harry Klein, has been an important mentor to me my entire adult life. He's an attorney, but he is not a shark. He's one of the rare good ones. I couldn't stand back and watch everything he's worked for burn to the ground. We have one last big case the outcome of everything may hinge on. There is no room for failure now. So get it together, Sam.
And let's put on the spider suit. Phoenix, Ace Attorney. The indie developed version. Near dawn. So one looks light and one looks dark. That's what I noticed off the bat immediately. Seattle. I think it's Seattle, I don't know. Alright, let's go.
A waitress shuffles past us. The aroma of bacon and fries and the white noise of background chatter fill the air. I sit across from my boss, Harry Klein, at the neighborhood diner. It's our go-to place for a particularly hearty lunch to help with the long hours ahead. There's a kid sitting a ways across from me watching videos on his phone and playing with his food. He's laughing hysterically. The shirt says, and I quote, "The Pouchmaster." Pouchmon is a popular game and toy franchise from Japan. It's been around forever.
Can we play this Pouchmon, devs? You gotta let us play the phone. You have to.
A bright yellow sponge was dancing on the kid's phone. I remember I had to actually engage with my surroundings when I was a kid. Not so much these days. I haven't seen this waitress before. She seems a little inexperienced. I try to get her attention, but she's taken someone's order. She knows we're here. She'll come by when she's ready. Maybe she does look a little familiar. Not sure where from, though. It was a little red Corvette. The 1950s convertible V8. 150
like that.
horsepower, 0 to 60 in 11.5 seconds, or so I've heard, stood perched above the kitchen entryway. It was the king himself, the rock and roll god, one of the most iconic personas to ever come from our country, set in a reflective steel print.
So
It has
based on
more
the
of
real
an
world?
impact in the evening time, when the marquee bulbs go on. The kitchen was busy. The dishes were piling up. The cook was sweating bullets. I was sure at least some of it wound up in the food.
Adds flavor, you know, the texture that you need, the secret ingredient. Sweat, blood, and tears.
There was a selection of pastry assorted in the display. It looked like cherry pie, apple pie, and a chocolate cake I knew to be particularly bad. The cherry pie was out of this world. Maybe I'll come back later for that cherry pie. I'm reminded of something Andy Warhol once said. It goes something like, you can be looking at an ad for Coke and know that the president drinks Coke, and the homeless man on the street drinks Coke, and you can drink Coke too. A Coke is a Coke, and no amount of money can get you a better Coke than the one the homeless man drinks. All Cokes are the same, and all Cokes are good. I think I'll get a pop with lunch. You gotta love old Louis Armstrong, one of the greatest jazz musicians who's ever lived. His music defines an era and takes you back to simpler times. Perhaps with the exception of his hit, "I'll Be Glad When You're Dead, You Rascal You." I haven't seen this waitress before. She knows we're here.
Alright, let's get to it. Let's look at this guy. He looks depressed.
Poor man. Go back a year and everyone wanted him on their case. He's had one bout of seriously bad luck no one deserves. Harry worked with my father once upon a time, before starting his own firm.
Of course.
My father always disliked him for being what he saw as sanctimonious. That couldn't be further from the truth. I know Harry as a man who would never compromise his principles to win a case, and I believe that to be admirable.
Needs a little bit of spunk in his voice. Sounds too like I don't know, he needs something there.
Harry seems worn out. It hurts me seeing him like this, so I try to be as supportive as I can.
I've been getting this rash on my thigh.
man, I can't wait to eat something. I skipped breakfast this morning. What are you getting?
I'll probably go for the chicken. Where is that waitress? Just saw her. Oh, there she is. Excuse me. Can we order here?
He was shouting. I gave an indiscernible cringe. I can't fault him. He is under a great deal of stress. But it's not my preferred method of getting someone's attention. With a start, the waitress realizes we can no longer be ignored and nods her way towards us. The waitress seems to still be getting the hang of things here. She nearly spilled half a glass full of water on me as she came to take our order. She promptly apologized, and I laughed it off. Harry seemed to be judging her, though. She whips out a pencil and a pad of paper.
I'm sorry it took a while. It gets pretty busy around here this time.
Well, you better be sorry. Sorry that I don't have your number.
Do you know what you'd like? Today's special is the seafood Swiss cheese pasta, and it comes with a drink. Choice of pop, coffee, or tea.
Do you have grape soda?
Her voice seems carefree, but pleasant. Harry is intrigued with the offer we just received, and wastes no time asking for the special. I was suspicious of it, however. Recording his order, she now turns her gaze towards me.
Hi, I'm the main character of my story. I have no personality or depth. No, I'm just messing around. Let's we'll give him time. Maybe that personality will spark out, you know. Let's talk about myself.
My name is Sam Nichols.
Yeah, I'm a hero.
Just now, my associate and I were discussing how to bring one of the largest, most evil corporations in the world down to its knees. Harry nodded approvingly when she skeptically glanced over to him.
Is that right?
That's right. You know Pigeon Group, don't you?
Pigeon? As in the chocolate company?
No, it's the birds you throw bread at outside, and they're like rats. And can I have your number?
Sure. They're so innocent. I'll tell you what. Remember this face. Sam Nichols. This time next year, mine will be a household name. Like Dean Strang or Jerry Buting.
Dean who?
Well, you'll see. Anyway, Harry was almost turning red from trying to stifle his laughter.
So, how about it? What would you like?
Her hair was dyed a deep purple with hints of cobalt. Her hair was dyed a deep purple.
Yeah, I want to make this guy as creepy as possible.
She looks a little distracted. I would guess she's around my age, no more than a few years younger. There really is something familiar about her. Maybe she's related to someone I know. She is quite attractive, and with her dyed hair has that artsy hipster thing going. I wouldn't really know what to call it. I suspect she was suppressing an underlying attitude to make a good impression. You could say it's just my imagination, but I am an expert at reading people. I take a customary glance at the menu. I'm well acquainted with it, of course. There's an adequate burger, a spicy chicken sandwich. There's always the vegetarian option if you don't want to feel overly stuffed. And that rotating daily special.
So, how about it? What would you like?
May I ask what your name is?
It's Allie.
She hesitated for a moment, but answered with what could pass for a smile. I have to say, you look really nice. Without even glancing, out of the corner of my eye, I could tell that Harry was suddenly wearing a huge grin on his face.
He's kind of creepy.
Her eyebrows peaked as she blinked at me.
Well, thank you for objectifying me.
Okay, I don't want your number anymore.
Oh, I didn't mean it that way. I just thought I trailed off conspicuously and hoped she'd forget this part of our encounter.
So, how about it? What would you like?
May I ask what your name is? She hesitated. I have to say, without even glancing, her eyebrows.
Well, thank you.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay.
I trailed off.
So, how.
Let's order some food now.
I knew what I wanted. I think I'll go for that special as well. I couldn't have normal food and let Harry contend with what was likely going to be a horrendous meal on his own. I decided to bite the bullet. Who knows, though? I would love to be proven wrong.
Okay, and it comes with a drink. What would you like?
No grape. It's probably a wire tea. Let's get tea.
Some tea would be good.
Great. Is that everything?
My name is Sam. Just now. Harry.
Is that
That's right.
pigeon? Dean.
What? Harry.
Is that
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be just a few minutes.
Smooth, buddy. Real smooth.
He seems to be chuckling to himself. That's 3rd Avenue. We're in the heart of Seattle's central business district.
This kid's a demon. Eat your
You
food.
should finish your meal. You want to grow up big and strong like us, don't you?
I'm just a creepy young man just telling what a child to do while he wears that Pokemon on his shirt.
The kid wasn't even in the same universe as I. He was underwater, and nothing but sponges or starfish existed for him in that moment. His mother looked at me apologetically, as if to say, I know he could be a handful. Or maybe she was saying, save me from this life. There was no way I could know for sure.
Or, possibly, what is this man doing telling my child to eat his food?
I turned back to Harry, wondering if he noticed my digression from our lunch. He noticed.
Sam, are you into the mom or something?
No. I was just trying to be a positive role model here.
The only thing you're accomplishing is bringing that kid's burger to my attention. Could teach him a lesson. Could eat it right in front of him.
This is getting really, Hollywood weird right now.
I don't think I have to remind you. That is a crime. At least of being a jerk.
Bah, misdemeanor.
Clearly a joke, but he seemed to have to shake himself off the idea before giving a chuckle. The kitchen was busy. The dishes were piling up. Harry seems to have perked up a little now that we knew our food was on the way. I was getting pretty hungry myself.
Mark Twain said to succeed in life, you need 2 things: ignorance and confidence. I always thought there was something to that.
What do you think of our waitress?
I wasn't gonna bring it up. I think she's clumsy, but pretty cute. I might chat her up if I were your age, or single.
That's not what I was doing. She really just looked familiar to me.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Hero. I must have misunderstood all of that.
He seemed to be chuckling to himself again. As I was rolling my eyes, I noticed our waitress coming back with our orders. She appeared to be having trouble managing and would periodically stagger on her way. My senses may have been heightened from the hunger, because I remember this disaster vividly, as though I'd watched it in slow motion. Harry was impatiently licking his lips the moment his seafood Swiss cheese pasta caught his eye. You could see it give off a trail of steam. To call it fragrant wouldn't do it justice. I could smell the cheap, melted cheese and assorted fruits de mer from 10 feet away. Surprisingly, at a glance, it didn't look half bad. Suddenly, the huge grin on Harry's face evaporated into horror as he realized the precariousness of the situation. Perhaps I should offer a helping hand. I had just enough time to think before watching the plate of pasta slip out of the waitress's grasp as she finally managed to regain her balance. The horror spread to the waitress's face, and mine as well. As if entranced, I braced for impact, seeing the floppy strands untangle and briefly dance through the air with the sticky web of cheese and chunks of fish and shrimp before. Square on Harry's head. All I could do was... I burst out laughing unconsciously, then forcibly silenced myself, realizing how inappropriate it is. I then watch Harry's face turn red with rage as it takes him a moment to process the events of the last few seconds. The laughter of the kid sitting across from us is the only sound that could be heard in that entire restaurant. His mother promptly scolds him, and he quiets down.
Oh my god! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That must be
The
so
waitress
hot.
is absolutely mortified. She throws the plate on the table and proceeds to heroically remove handfuls of hot pasta and seafood off of Harry.
That's like sue me hot. That must be like disgustingly hot on his head.
Without thinking, she grabs Harry's water and pours it all over his head to help it cool. This only seems to exacerbate the problem, angering him even more as he yells various expletives and storms into the bathroom. She follows him as far as she dares and can't stop apologizing.
Ellie, get in here.
A gruff voice called from the kitchen. The waitress rushes past me, apologizing for being a klutz, with shame and resignation on her face. I feel bad for her. She seemed nice. Of course, I feel bad for Harry too. The guy can't catch a break. I shake my head in disbelief. Miraculously, I somehow remained unscathed in this. After a minute of muffled arguing and berating, the manager comes out to apologize for what happened, and personally wipes down the table. I give out a sigh. The whole situation has made me very uncomfortable. Harry must still be washing up, when sometime later the waitress makes her way towards the entrance.
I'm sorry I ruined your strategy meeting. I hope your associate is okay.
He's fine, but about that number.
My conscience compels me to get up and see her off. She bites her lip and gives me a surprisingly troubled look as I hold the door open for her.
Thank you.
She walks to the doorway. Wait, Allie, is it? I see her muscles tighten as she stops in her tracks. She gives a great sigh and turns around to face me.
Great! Just what I needed. Assaulting a bunch of lawyers. Good one, Allie. Well done.
I can only give her a blank stare as she yells at herself.
All right, let's hear it. I injured your friend, and now you want to sue me for crimes against humanity. Is that it?
That's exactly it.
The thought honestly hadn't even occurred to me.
Listen, I'm just a student, okay? I needed this job to help put me through school. And now I got fired. Couldn't we just, write all this off as bad luck?
Well, you burned my friend's skull and, yes, pastrami, ravioli, and sea sauce all over his head, probably seeping into his pores, so I don't quite know.
Well, I'm sorry, but in this world there are consequences for your actions. You spilled a plate of steaming hot pasta all over my boss, and at this critical time, no less. What is he supposed to do if he has to appear in court with burns on his face? You bet your butt we're suing you.
No, please don't. I don't even have any money. I'm on a student loan. What am I supposed to do?
Give me your number.
She pleads to me with tears in her eyes. It's Sally. She used to be our waitress, until she dropped a whole mess of stuff on Harry. Poor girl. She's in quite a pickle.
Devs, I'm happy that you make us have choices to be a bad guy. I like being a bad guy. Just make us like as scummy as possible. Let me be the worst lawyer in the world, and I'll love you guys forever for this.
She looks at me defiantly with fierce eyes, her composure betrayed only by the tears within them. I genuinely feel bad for her.
No, you don't. You're being played by me.
You know, that's a nice story, but I don't really care. You are a grown-up, and the things you do affect other people. If you haven't learned that yet, then let this be your lesson. Now, are you going to give me your name and contact information, or am I going to have to get them off your employer? She looked down at her feet and started crying as soon as I got into it. Her demeanor, so resolute a moment ago, instantly changed to that of a wounded animal. When she spoke, out came a whisper.
I'm sorry. It was an accident. I don't know what else I can say.
Apologies are cheap. I'm not interested in your excuses. I came to get your details from you. That is all.
That's right, Sam. Your lack of personality and rendering of emotion. I don't even know what I'm saying, but you have no emotion. This is how you're supposed to act, Sam.
Suddenly, the wounded animal was looking at me with a deep-set fury in her eyes that made me greatly regret everything I just said.
Go to hell, you asshole. You think I'm gonna cooperate with you? You entitled piece of shit. So everyone in this world is allowed to have a bad day, except you. Isn't that it? Tell your boss he can kiss my ass.
Well, she just burned my boss, and okay, I'm glad I'm suing her.
Before I could even react, she ran down the street. My heart was racing.
I felt thrilled about suing this young woman. I've never felt quite the experience like this before. I can't wait to tell my boss.
Why the hell did I have to say all that? Sometimes I surprise myself.
You're being a bad boy, Sam. I love it.
Me too. We should go out sometime, buddy.
I thought the voice came from behind me. There was nobody there.
This might be an interesting day after all.
I think I'm starting to feel a headache coming on.
Reminds me a lot of American Psycho.
I switched Harry's order to a burger and took our lunches to go, after all. I decided I'd wait for him outside. Things had gotten about as awkward as I could stand in there. It was one of the federal buildings down the street. They do have a federal courthouse inside. I might visit it one day.
It's just that voice acting, man. It sounds like, I don't know if he's supposed to be that way or...
It's nice they make an effort to keep the place more green. This area would be really depressing without some of these trees around. The daily paper was hanging in the window. There was a headline about increased sunspot activity. It's the Seattle Tulip. It must be one of the most ironic installations in the city. 3 tons of steel shaped into a decorative flower, painted bright red and green, and dropped in the middle of a monotonous concrete jungle. The scene of the crime. Sal's Diner has been around since the 80s. It's one of our usual spots for lunch, though I may have to rethink that now. I think I'd rather wait out here. Harry finally came out of the bathroom and rushed to meet me outside. Understandably, he could not get away from there soon enough. He did a pretty good job of cleaning himself off. The stuff was never coming out of that shirt, though.
Yeah, thanks a lot for laughing at that. A whole pile of good you are, Sam.
Sorry about that, Harry. I couldn't help it. It was just really the last thing I expected to happen. Though, given how clumsy she was.
Yeah. I got it. You were thinking with your other brain. Man, what a day. Let's just go back to the office and never speak of this again. Can you do me this one favor?
Speak of what? I chose not to tell him about the threats I made to Allie on his behalf. It wasn't something I was particularly proud of.
Don't be afraid of heights. That is not what kills you.
Darkness. More.
What? Did you just say, Harry?
I said let's go back to the office. Seafood effing pasta. Ugh. I feel nauseous just thinking about it.
He kept shaking his head the whole way as we walked back to the office.
Oh, Sam, I'm starting to really worry about you.
All in all, this was actually a relatively tame start to one of the most bizarre days of my life.
Wait. Is that all? No, that is not all. Where is the action? The drama? Adventure? There is much more. Please, if you like this game, help support our project on Kickstarter.
Wow, she
If
plugged
you come
devs.
early, I might just give you a good discount.
No, I'm just kidding. But there you go, guys. It wasn't that much gameplay, but you got the basic idea of what goes on. You got good choices. You got a little bit. You can be evil if you want. It seems. Maybe they could use some different voice acting, but other than that, interesting game. I would recommend it. I would go to their Kickstarter, which is gonna start on the 24th, and who knows what they could do if they give us a lot of choice to be as evil as possible. I would say go for it, 100%. And that's it for Far Off Daydream, and we shall end it there. Bye bye, guys. Leave a comment and subscribe.